St. Louis, July 19, 1993. 9-year-old Kimbre Young disappears from her home on Gibson Avenue. One moment, she's a child in a pink blouse and sandals. The next, she's gone. At first, it looked like a simple missing child case. Neighbors searching, police with dogs scouring the blocks. But then came a stunning turn. A family member, her own cousin, stepped forward. His name was Demetric Williams. And what he told police would chill the city. That he had taken her. That he had assaulted her. That he had killed her and thrown her body away. Yet 3 decades later, Kimbre has never been found. What really happened to her? Here's the unsettling contradiction. Demetric Williams stood trial, was convicted, and is serving a life sentence. His confession spells guilt on paper. But there's a chilling void. The victim's remains have never been found. Day after day, year after year, investigators return to the same question. Where is Kimbre Young? In the next chapter, you'll see how law enforcement combed landfills, questioned the suspect's every move, and still came up empty-handed. You'll hear why this conviction feels hollow for the family. Justice was served, but closure was not. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the silence of a missing body can echo louder than any verdict. Kimbre Young had just turned 9, still a child discovering the world. She lived on the 4300 block of Gibson Avenue in St. Louis, a modest neighborhood where kids played on sidewalks and parents watched from porches. That afternoon, between noon and 2, she was last seen at home, wearing a pink and white blouse, a blue jean skirt, and pink sandals. Nothing about that day felt dangerous. To Kimbre, it was simply another day in her own world. She was far too young to vanish. No birthday candles were ever blown out. No school pictures followed her smile. No family dinners with a seat saved. For Kimbre's family, the silence has become a constant ache. They are haunted not just by her loss, but by all the years she should have grown into. A child's future, forever frozen just outside their reach. It was a quiet summer day in St. Louis, 1993. Mid-July stretched into a calm afternoon, and in her own neighborhood, on Gibson Avenue, Kimbre Young revolved through an ordinary routine, unaware that everything was about to change. Between noon and 2, she was home, safe, surrounded by familiar sights and sounds. Yet when her family checked on her later, she had silently disappeared. Confusion turned to alarm. Neighbors were called. Police were summoned. Canine units fanned out across nearby vacant buildings and alleys. The dogs, trained for anything, stopped on nothing. As the search grew wider, the shock settled deeper. Where could a child vanish so completely? But just as the hunt spanned the streets, another realization took shape, this time, closer to home. When darkness fell that evening, the only trace of Kimbre Young was empty air. Nothing inside her home suggested disappearance. No doors forced, no windows open, and none of the hallmarks of a runaway. In fact, everything looked undisturbed, as if she could walk back at any moment. That absence hung in the silence. Fear rippled outward. Neighbors joined the search. Doors were knocked. Houses were checked again and again. Police extended the canvas. It seemed impossible. How could a 9-year-old vanish from her own home? Broad daylight, familiar walls, watched closely. As the hours stretched, the investigation shifted its focus inward, where, tragically, the unsettling truth was waiting. As daylight faded, St. Louis investigators raced to trace Kimbre's last moments. Police brought in canine units to sniff out her scent, drifting from the house to neighboring vacant lots, a faint hope in the air. The dogs found nothing. Detectives combed through Gibson Avenue, peered into empty structures, and interviewed every neighbor. Still, there was no trace of Kimbre, no footprints, No signs of struggle, no clues that she left of her own will. At first, the possibility of an outsider abducting her was taken seriously. A stranger. A random predator. It seemed plausible, until the threads led back home. Inconsistencies surfaced. Her cousin Demetric Williams slipped in telling his account. Questions arose about his whereabouts that day. And then, against all odds, came the confession that changed everything. Investigators narrowed their focus to one troubling person, Demetric Williams, Kimbre's cousin. He lived just blocks away, a familiar face, someone the family trusted. When questioned, Williams stunned everyone. He said he lured Kimbre into his home, assaulted her, then struck her repeatedly with a barbell until she was dead. According to him, he crammed her body into a trash bin and wheelied it away. His confession delivered horrifying clarity, but crucially, no body was ever recovered. Law enforcement searched every possible dump site and landfill, following every clue, yet the silence remained. As police and family watched, it became painfully clear, without a body, how much weight could even the most shocking confession carry? The breakthrough came just 1 month after the disappearance. In August 1993, police arrested Demetric Williams, Kimbre's cousin. He had confessed to the unthinkable. 2 years later, in May 1995, the courts delivered their verdict. Williams was convicted of first-degree murder and armed criminal action. The judge imposed a sentence of life in prison without parole. But a grave irony remained. Investigators had meticulously searched the Metro East landfill, the place Williams had claimed to have dumped Kimbre's body, yet no remains were ever recovered. In the courtroom, justice was served. But beyond those walls, the search continued. Kimbre's family still waited, for answers, for a grave, for a final goodbye. Today, Demetric Williams remains behind bars, serving a life sentence for the murder of Kimbre Young. Yet legally, Kimbre is still classified as missing, not deceased, a stark reflection of the case's unresolved nature. Her family lives with a tragic paradox. They know who took her, yet they don't know where she rests. That absence has kept grief alive in a way few tragedies do. A child taken by someone she trusted, her cousin, has left a scar on the entire community. People still walk those streets with heavy hearts, haunted by a betrayal so intimate. Kimbre would have celebrated her 41st birthday this year. Instead, her story remains an open wound, some memories frozen in time, others still searching for a place to land. Now we reach the crossroads of speculation. The facts are known, but the truth remains layered. Theory 1. Demetric Williams told the truth. Kimbre's remains may lie buried deep in the landfill he indicated, lost forever under layers of refuse. In this scenario, justice was served, and only time now stands between truth and oblivion. Theory 2. He lied about where he put her body, to shield a different disposal site or conceal details. In this scenario, remains may still be somewhere else in St. Louis, waiting to be rediscovered. Theory 3. He fabricated some or all of his confession, maybe under pressure or to end interrogation. If so, the exact events remain hidden, and the case is far more complex. Each theory has logic and gaps. The landfill theory aligns with his confessions but yields nothing. The alternate location theory offers hope, but is speculative. The fabrication theory is chilling, but harder to prove. Which of these do you think holds the most weight? If Williams told the truth, Kimbre's body may rest buried somewhere beneath those refuse mounds, forever unrecovered. But if he lied, perhaps to shield something more disturbing, the real location remains out there, waiting to be found. Decades have passed. And now, the silence is as heavy as the landfill police once relentlessly searched. Do you believe Demetric Williams' confession was the full truth, Or could Kimbre's body be somewhere else, still waiting to be found? Share your thoughts in the comments, but please keep the discussion respectful. And if you believe these stories need to be told and these victims deserve to be remembered, make sure to subscribe to Obscura True Crime so you don't miss the next case.